Hello, trading is closed on September 28th, 2018. Had a bunch of calls. Looked for the pattern with the early low. We got that. Monday's pattern should have the early high. Most of the time it's a rally day and closes near the high. When it doesn't, it tends to drop in a straight line. We said unless we took this high out early, lower prices should print. They did. Of course, had I said higher prices should print and that we closed unchanged, I could have claimed victory too. One of those days where no matter what you said, you could say you called it right. I thought there was a good chance, but not a certainty, we'd gap outside the day's range. That didn't happen. When I look for a gap outside the range, it doesn't happen. Next most likely thing is we close little change. Well, can't get closer to unchanged than that. Typically when you close unchanged, you have the big move the next trading day. So for Monday, I think the most likely thing, not the only thing, is we gap and promptly trade outside the range. Frankly, I could make a case for a move in either direction. We've been dropping and can't take out these lows, and we've been rallying and can't take out the highs. I'm not going to predict the direction for Monday, but we are going to have some longer term stuff in just a minute. During the day, MEJT's at a higher price it would print, which they did. So the higher price it would print here, which they did. Nothing new for Monday. Now, as I said, based on my book, this really isn't a target. Computer program said it was, gapping smartly in the undesired direction. Killed the call before the open, as always. And whether or not this will print, I don't know. We'll just save this number with a question mark. I just don't have the volume of information I have from the program that I have for the targets in the book. So let's take a look at the longer term picture. I think the recent high has a lot going for it, even if we break it later on. First of all, you have a reversal bar involving the upper Bollinger Band. That's a sell signal, gives us a target of challenging the lower band. Now the lower band is down at 2869. Of course the band moves and a challenge doesn't mean we have to touch it. But whether or not we go up Monday, I look for a challenge of this lower band at some time. Doesn't have to be immediate, and as I say, as long as that high holds, that's the target. That's not all we have for that high holding, for a little bit at least. You connect these highs. The breakout's valid unless immediately reversed. It was immediately reversed, and now we're trading under the trend line. Real confirmation is breaking under this price. Hasn't happened yet. But as long as we stay under the trend line, it's at least possible. One guy whose opinions I respect has a technique where he ignores the actual low, draws a trend line between this low and this low, and sees where it ends up, and it turns up to hit this high and this high right on the nose. What really gets interesting, though, is if you draw a trend line from this high down to the low in 2009. I'll show it if the machine lets me. You ignore this low and take this one. This isn't a perfect hit, but it's close enough for me. And if you follow along that trend line, Here's a perfect hit. Here's a perfect hit. And of course, it's giving me a hard time today. There's the perfect hit right over there. Now the main argument for that high holding is the wave count. Still have this as an impulse, and this is a series of threes. And one valid way to count it is an ending diagonal triangle. Now if this is wave gray C, would be nice, ignoring the degrees here, if A of C was related to A of gray A, and this B was related to B of gray A. And they are. Let's take a look at this height. That's A of C of some degree. And you can see your 78.6 is right over here. And what really makes life interesting is when you take this B of A and set it equal to 61.8%. He likes to make me work for this. Set it equal to 61.8%. Right on the proverbial nose, there is your 100%. So these waves are all related. So we have the reversal over the Bollinger Band. We have the ending the diagonal triangle, ending diagonal triangle, which you can have in a C wave. So all in all, even if we do go up Monday, as long as the recent high holds, we do have a target currently around 28.69. Should change a little bit as this line moves, but since it's flat, it might not change a lot. So for Monday, we look for a gap and a prompt move outside the day's range. No call as to the direction, but as long as the recent high holds, we should be able to move tradably lower, and that's today's call.